Welcome back to Basic Electronics video lecture. Now in this lecture we discuss Unit 5. Unit 5 is divided into two parts. One is the data acquisition system. Under that we will discuss the three transducers operation working. And part 2 is data converters. There we will discuss the analog to digital and digital to analog converters. Now in the first topic we will see the definition of transducer and types of transducer. Now what is transducer? Transducer which converts one form of energy into another form is called the transducer. Now here we will discuss the electronic transducer which will convert one form of energy into electrical form. Now here the output is physical quantity is directly proportional to the electrical quantity. So this is converting the one form of energy into electrical quantity is called the electrical transducer. Now here there are few different types of transducers are there. Now that we will discuss here. These are the different types of transducer. So based on transduction element. So now how the input physical quantity is converted into. So if the output, if it is converting into the resistance, then that is called the resistive transducer. If the transduction element is inductive, then that is called the inductive transducer. If the transduction element is capacitive, then it is called the if the transduction element is capacitor, then it is called the capacitive transducer. Now these are the three different types of transistor based on the transduction. Means what? The physical quantity is converted into which parameter? Either resistive, capacitive, inductive, depending upon the three transducers are there. Now next coming to the primary and secondary. So primary transducer which converts the quantity into physical into the non-electrical quantity, and secondary is converts the non-electrical quantity to the electrical quantity. Now here one form to the other form, that output is not the electrical form in the case of primary, but in the case of secondary the output is electrical form. Now for this the best example is, now here I will show the example. This is the Bourdon tube. This is the Bourdon tube which will convert the pressure to the displacement. Now again this is the LVDT which is converting the displacement to the voltage. So now this is the primary transducer. Bourdon tube is the primary transducer which is converting pressure to the displacement. Output is not electrical. Output is not the voltage current, so that's why here it is one form is converted into another form, pressure is converted into the displacement, non-electrical form. And again using this LVDT, this displacement is converted into the EMF or voltage. So this is called the secondary transducer. The next one is active transducer and passive transducer. Next, active transducer and passive transducer. Now active transducer doesn't require any external voltage supply to give the output electrical quantity. So directly it will sense the physical quantity and it will convert the output, it will give the output as an electrical quantity. Now coming to the passive transducer, so output is not the directly electrical quantity. So to convert that output into the electrical quantity, it requires the external battery. So active transducer doesn't require any external battery to give the electrical output. Now passive transducer requires battery to convert the to give the electrical output. Now coming to the analog and digital transducer. If the transducer converting input into the continuous output signal, the output is a continuous form of signal, then that is called the analog. If the output is a digital form or pulse form, then that is called the digital transducer. And the next one is transducer and inverse transducer, which will convert, transducer means which converts the physical form, any physical quantity into electrical quantity is called the transducer. Inverse transducer means electrical quantity to the physical quantity. Best example for the inverse transducer is crystal. So crystal, when we apply the force, then it will generate the electrical signal. When we apply the electrical signal, then it will give the mechanical force. So crystal is the example for both the transducer and inverse transducer. Now these are the different types of the transducer, and in the next lecture we will study the three different types of transducer. The first one is LVDT, that we will study in the next lecture. Thank you.